Restaurants sizzle or fizzle all the time, and we want yours to sizzle, just like this one. Hi, I'm James Bricione, the Director of Culinary Development at the Institute of Culinary Education in New York City. At ICE, we teach our students the ins and outs of running a restaurant, and in general, how to own or operate your own food business. We want to share some of that knowledge with you today. Vin McCann, an ICE culinary management instructor and industry expert, sat down with a struggling restaurant owner. Let's listen in.
You want to give me a little background?
We've been open for a year, and when we first opened, I had a full reservation book every night. There was a line at the bar, and then as the weeks and months went by, there's just not enough people in the seats anymore, and I don't know what to do.
So when you first opened, in your mind, why did people come here?
Well, we were in the newspaper a lot, and so they read about us, and then they got here, and it's a really nice place.
That's really not what I meant. Why would they come here in your mind?
We have really, really good food, and I knew when I wrote my business plan that I wanted it to be local and sustainable, and I knew what was hot and popular, and so I incorporated that into the menu. I realize it's not the nicest menu that's ever been made, but I print it every night. The chef and I come up with new dishes, and then I go upstairs and I type it out, and then I hit print, and then every night we get a new menu.
I think if you look at your menu and you look at a competitor's menu, I think you could do a better job of presenting your food well, just so the customer can see clearly what it is you're offering, and it could be, I think, described more attractively than it is here. Do you know if that menu positions you to make a profit?
Well, so the way that I came up with my prices is I look at my POs every month, and then I figure out how much to charge average spread across the menu, and things that should be more expensive I charge a little bit more for, and things that are a little less expensive I charge a little less for.
If you look at it, I look at these items and these prices and I say to myself, I don't see how you can make enough money to pay your bills. What does the hamburger cost you?
Exactly, the hamburger by itself.
Right. Then how can you price it? You
Well,
have it priced at...
I know in round numbers a hamburger probably should be about, I don't know, $15.
$15 for a hamburger. But if what you put on the plate doesn't translate to $15 worth of value, no one cares whether you're going to the farmer's market or not. Do you know that they were happy with the food?
Well, no one ever complained.
There's a difference.
Well, I had comment cards that I put out on the tables, but no one ever fills them out, and so I just figure that they're happy because they didn't complain and they had the opportunity to.
So you just leave the cards on the table and people will either fill it out or they won't. It's almost like homework for your guests. Does the staff encourage it? Were you in the dining room? Was your manager in the dining room? I looked at the Yelp reviews before I came down, and it seems like service is a problem.
Service is a big problem, partially because I have really high turnover in my staff, and so I don't have a lot of time to train them. I just hope for the best.
If you were to set up a specific training program, and it could just be a couple of days, but define what it is you want people to do and how you want them to do it, and I think that would go a long way in improving the service in the restaurant, and it would also go a long way in slowing down the turnover. One, it ensures that your guest gets a better deal, that they're treated better, and at the same time, it will slow down your turnover. So you should train people very specifically what you want them to do and how you want them to do it, and you have to monitor that they do it. The turnover has an impact on value. This is a neighborhood restaurant. Neighborhood restaurants are connecting places. If every time you come into a neighborhood restaurant there's a different person waiting on you or tending bar, it's disconcerting. It's uncomfortable. You can't be a new restaurant every week. How much do you spend on labor weekly?
I tried using time cards to monitor their comings and goings, but it doesn't even matter because I just pay them off the schedule. And so the time card didn't make any sense. And then this way I can just pay them in cash off the books.
So you don't keep time records at all? You pay the same amount every week, you make a schedule, and whether or not people actually live up to the schedule, you just pay off the schedule.
When you say it like that, it does sound bad.
It's your money, and I think that's you have to remember that. This is a business, and yes, it's a party, and you take care of people, and you entertain them, but you have to look at the business side.
Okay, so I'm gonna train the staff, I'm gonna relook at the menu, redesign the menu, and then...
And you need to pay attention to the whole experience. If either you or your manager is in the mix every night, making sure that people are taken care of, that the food is coming out in good order and good time, you'll be okay. It's taken you a year to get to the situation you're in. It's gonna take you 6 weeks to 2 months to start to turn that around.
But you're saying there's hope.
There is absolutely hope.
Okay. I'm really glad I called you.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks, Vin.
So what's the takeaway from all of this? First and foremost, listen to your guests and listen to your staff. Speaking of staff, hire the right people and train them properly. Also, keep an eye on everything from the time clock to the loading dock to the prep kitchen and the restaurant floor. No matter the business, your finger on its pulse is the key to your success. Also, remember you are a retailer who wants to fill the seats in your restaurant or maximize the traffic of your retail business. So always factor your pricing and watch your cost. Carefully design and plan your menu. Stay ahead of the competition. Know what they are doing and make sure you are doing everything in your power to compete effectively. But be authentic in the process. Factor these tips into your restaurant or food business, ensuring that it will be running for years to come. I'm James Brisione for the Institute of Culinary Education. For more information, please visit ice.edu.